Hey guys, welcome back here to today's episode of Advanced Bass Fishing, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to check out today's episode. And guys, today I had a really good video. I'm going to share with you guys one lure that I have caught a ton of big fish on that nobody fishes anymore. It sort of like fell by the wayside a little bit, which I don't really understand, because when you get in the right situations, this thing is a big fish catching bait today, just like it was 30 years ago. And that's this old Lunker City Sluggo here. Basically just like a fluke. You fish it like a fluke. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Sluggo and show you guys how to rig it and give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish it. I think it's going to add up to some giant fish for you guys this spring under the right conditions, so we'll get into that. And also guys, I'll put my Sluggo link and my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video if you guys would like to order a couple of them. There's a lot of different types of this type of stuff out there, but I'll put a couple links in the description. And also guys, thank you very much for everybody that's taken time to check out my on the water lessons. If you're interested in booking an on the water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat. Shoot me a private message and I'll get you the details for a trip there. Really appreciate that. Okay guys, if you've been in the sport a long time, you remember the Sluggo craze. Back in the early 90s, Lunker City developed this thing. It's called the Sluggo. It was the first soft plastic jerkbait. It was truly a revolutionary invention, because prior to the Sluggo, there wasn't anything like this whatsoever. All you had was like plastic worms and plastic crawdads and grubs and stuff like that, tubes. But nobody had a soft plastic jerkbait, nobody. And when it first came out, it was very similar to the Alabama rig. For first year or 2 or 3 years with the Sluggo, it dominated tournament fishing. People kept it quiet. It was an incredible bass catcher. And once I found out about it, I started using it too with some unbelievable success. And I'll tell you one thing about it, guys. This Sluggo here, when you get the right conditions, I have never seen a bait that catches so many big ones. Giant bass will hit this thing. I have caught several 9-pound bass on it, and I've had several more 7 and 8 pound class. It's just unbelievable for triggering and attracting bigger fish. And it's not that big of a bait relative. I mean, it's about a 7-inch long bait, but it's pretty narrow. It's almost like a 7-inch worm. But when you rig it right and fish it in the right spot, it'll catch giants. So let's talk a little bit about how you want to rig it first. Now, there's a little bit of misconception. A lot of people started out rigging the Sluggo with the EWG hook, where they came out the top. But let me give you guys a little tip here that will increase the action of the Sluggo. Unbelievable. And I also rig my flukes like this, so you can use them on a fluke too. Get you a straight shank Gamakatsu. This is a 4/0 Gamakatsu G Finesse hook. This is the best hook for it. I'll put this in my Tackle Warehouse link too if you guys would like to get a pack of those for it. This is also the hook I use with the flukes. But on the Sluggo here, you want to come in the bottom of it. So start threading this thing through the bottom, right through the middle of it. And you want to come through, you're going to come out, see what that separation is right there? You're going to come out right at that first separation. And this is going to position the hook just about in the right position for what I'm going to show you to do here. Okay, so I'm going to be coming out. You can see it coming out like that. I'm going to thread it all the way on. Now, what you want to do at first, thread it completely straight. Try to get it straight like that. And then what you want to do is you want to back it up a little bit. And you want to get a crook in it, like this. See how that crook is in there? This is the whole key right here to getting this bait working really good in the water. Because if you try to do it straight, let's say, for example, you fish it weedless straight like that. When you work it like that, it's going to want to pop out of the water. And it's like going to want to just like dart and come up. But when you put the crook in it like this, it changes the head angle. And it'll have it digging down. So now when you jerk the Sluggo, when you have it rigged, with a little bit of crook in it like that, it makes it dart down and go just crazy like that. It's just literally just going like just a crazy minnow on the water. But if you don't rig it straight, it's going to pop out of the water. So this rigging like this is really, really critical. There's a little bit of a learning curve to it, but once you get it, you're not going to have a problem. But this is what it looks like. This is sort of how you want the bait to look like when it's hanging straight. And then also, guys, this is a line twist and mother. If you try to throw this thing direct, with your line like that, in a matter of 30 casts, you're going to have your line twisting big time. So what I do is I put a barrel swivel about a foot above it, barrel swivel foot above it. And most of the time I'm fishing it on, 12 to 15 pound test Seaguar and Vizex 4 carbon line. Okay, so that's the rigging thing. And then how you want to work this thing, it's just a gentle jerk. You want to throw it out there and just don't really stop, just go boom, 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 like that. And when you're doing that, it just goes sideways, just like that through the water. And occasionally, like I'll go boom, boom, then I'll twitch it a couple times like that, and it'll dart faster. But the key with it, guys, is you want to keep it about 6 inches to a foot underneath the water. You don't want it any deeper than about a foot. I like to keep it about that far under the water where I can see it. Now, this is a sight bait. This is something you want to keep in sight. So therefore, the Sluggo always works better in clear water. So for me, when I'm fishing a Sluggo, I want to have at least 3 foot of visibility. 3 to 6 foot of visibility is perfect for it. It doesn't work that good in off-colored water simply because there's no noise to it whatsoever. It's basically silent in the water. Now, I have caught them in a little bit off-colored water more, like with the black one here. Actually, I did get at a tournament at Ross Barnett, Mississippi on this black Sluggo years ago. But for the most part, I want some clear water with it so I can see it. And then the Sluggo has got a window when it works. And the Sluggo window is sort of like the late pre-spawn, early spawn. So let me give you like the ideal situation for Sluggo. Then you can catch fish on either side of it, but here's perfect. It's like, if I could give you a perfect Sluggo scenario, 4 foot of visibility of water, number one. Number two, you don't have to have clouds, but a little bit of cloud cover helps, partly cloudy, something like that. This isn't like a top water where you have to have cloud cover. Excuse me. So, partly cloudy to cloudy sky, something like that. It works better if you don't have a lot of wind. I like either a calm or barely just a little bit of wind. It needs to be fairly warm out, some type of a southerly or westerly airflow. You do not want to throw a Sluggo after a front. I'll explain why here in a second. So I want, some type of light south wind or calm, fairly warm conditions, seasonally warm, clear water, that type of thing, and then some type of shallow cover to fish it around. The number one cover to fish a Sluggo around is around shallow vegetation. So that's why it's so good in Florida, guys. I have wrecked them in Florida on it. In fact, I've caught more bass and more big bass in Florida on a Sluggo than any other state. But you can catch them on a non-grass lake too. Grass is the number one habitat, just shallow grass. And then other than that, it's just going down bare banks. You don't really have to fish it around targets like laydowns or anything. When I'm fishing this thing during the late pre-spawn and the spawn, there's a lot of fish up on the bank anyway. So I just basically get in the spawning type coves, throw it out there, and just cover water with it. I'm trying to keep it that far underwater. Boom, 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 just covering water. And those fish will come up out of that deeper water to get the thing off the surface. So here's the thing that you have to remember. If I give you one tip about it, is the fish are very finicky on a Sluggo in terms of the weather. You have got to have some type of stable weather or some type of a pre-front situation. If you try to catch a fish, let's say, for example, you try to go fishing with a Sluggo after a cold front passes through where it's colder and it's bluebird sky and you got a north wind, something like that, you're never going to get a bite. I'll give you a prime example. I was practicing for a Bassmaster tournament down at Lake Toho in Florida. This has been back in the mid-90s. And guys, I had a day, the last day of practice, it was warm, it was super calm, the water was clear. And guys, you cannot believe, if I told you how many 5 to 10 pound bass that I had come up on this Sluggo with the hook cut off and get it, you probably wouldn't believe me. It was unbelievable. I got into this big grass bled. They were swimming up. I could see them perfectly. They'd come up and get it and swim off with it. And I knew something was up because that was just like, I've never seen anything like it before. And normally when something like that happens, something's fixing to change. Of course, that night, a bad front went through and the wind switched to the north the next day. It started blowing 20 miles an hour. The air temperature dropped 20 degrees. I never had one bite on it in the tournament. Not a single bite. That's typical on a Sluggo, guys. Put it in your box when a front goes through. But anyway, guys, pick up a few. Like I said, I'll put everything, links in the description. Hope it helps you guys catch some big ones, and we'll talk later.